Okay, so let us start today numerical problems on the beams. So take up this question, all of you. We'll do very slowly because beams problems are very important. I will read the problem. You write it. A cantilever beam subjected to point load. A cantilever beam subjected to a point load of 250 kilonewton 250 250 kilonewton shown in figure. 250 kilonewton shown in figure. Full stop. A cantilever beam subjected to point load of 250 kilonewton shown in figure. Full stop. Determine the deflection at free end. Determine the deflection at free end. Determine the deflection at free end and end support conditions. End support conditions. End support reactions, not conditions, sir. End support reaction. Determine the deflection at the free end and end support reactions. Take E is equal to 200 GPa. Moment of inertia is 4 into 10 raised to 6 millimeters per 4. 4 into 10 raised to 6 millimeters per 4. Okay. Copy that figure. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Written?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, as usual, first step you have to write the data clearly. Let us take P is equal to or F is equal to 250 kilonewton. Minus or plus, here we need to use the sign convention. Minus or plus, what is sign convention? Very important here. Downward force, what we are going to considering?
Considering
Negative. Upward force are positive. And clockwise movements are negative. Anti-clockwise movements are positive. That you keep in mind. Therefore, you can write minus 250 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. And Young's modulus is given. Everything you can convert into mm. 200 GPa. That is nothing but 200 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per mm square. And Young's modulus is moment of inertia given in millimeters per 4. And L is also given 0.8 meter. So convert into mm, 800 mm. What is the first question? We need to find the deflection and reactions. Second question. That you have to do it. Write neatly the datas. Hello. You written no data. Question you take no, you write it. Written the data.
Yes, sir.
See, um, here also in this entire module, same procedure as usual. First step is what? First step is what?
Time perimeter.
Yes, as usual,
Model.
finite element model, you have to write it. Then after that, stiffness matrix, you have to find it. And after that, global stiffness matrix, you have to find it. And after that, global force vector, you have to find it. And global no displacement vector, then finally this one equilibrium equation, then elimination method. You have to apply boundary condition, then you have to find the unknowns. The same procedure, no changes. That is what I said. All processes are similar. Now here very important thing is in element model, so depend upon the load up to, suppose up to here only one load is acting, then up to there we are divided into one. Suppose if the two loads are acting, combined load, suppose in the case of like this, so now we can divide into here up to here one load, up to here another load is there, therefore we can divide into two elements. Therefore we in this problem we are, it is only one load is acting, therefore we can divide into one single element. And here in FEM model very important thing is, in each node we are going to, we know that in beam element how many degree of freedom will be there, how many degree of freedom in the beam, how many degree of freedom in huh? In each node how many degree of freedom, huh? Hello.
Answer rotation.
Yes, in each 2 degree of freedom, one is transverse displacement, one is rotation or slope, we can call it. See, in a, when you're deriving the Hermite shape function, it may be a natural coordinate system or it may be a Cartesian coordinate system. How we consider the all the deflection? We are consider the translation deflection in a upward direction and slope in a anti-clockwise direction at both nodes. Based on this, we consider both are positive, and based on this, we are going to derive we derive the shape function, as well as we derive the even the stiffness matrix also. We consider the same thing. We consider theta 1 is anti-clockwise direction, theta 2 is anti-clockwise direction, and both are these two v1 v2 are upward direction. Based on that we are got it, the we derived this stiffness matrix. Therefore so here also we need to take up the same thing. So when you are going to divide element, when we are at each node we have to show one is translation as well as rotation theta in a same direction. You should not take reverse, because whatever the equation we derive, based on the that condition only we need to take, that is this condition. All the deflection v1 v2 v3 like that, it's upward, and theta 1 theta 2 theta 3 are anti-clockwise. You should not take reverse. This is very important, because other, if you take reverse entire sign this will be not valid, because sign convention we taken, based on that we derive this. So therefore here like that only you have to take it. So we are going to divide into one element, means two nodes will be there. At node 1, this one 2 degree of freedom, that is one is v1 and upward, and theta 1 anti-clockwise direction. Similarly at node 2 v2 upward, theta 2 anti-clockwise direction. So like this. Understood? Hello?
Yes,
What I'm saying, all of you understood or not?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
That is one thing, deflection, and even you have to write it along with that forces. What are the forces is there, that you have to show it. So and also here movement also will take up in the same direction, that is let's scale m1, and let's take this is theta 2 is nothing but movement only. Let's write it theta 1 theta 2 separately, m1 m2 also we can write it separately. That we can do it. I think in every problem we done like that only. I will check out once. Okay, same thing. Okay, so and also in each node we are going to write corresponding nodal forces, f1 everything in upward only, f1 f2, but f2 now it is minus 250. Minus will take it now because it's downward direction. That is 250. You no need to write here actually. Simply I'm showing. So this much things you have to write it in a FEM model. One is v1, v2, theta 1, theta 2, m1, m2, f1, f2 at corresponding each node. So this is very important, the modeling of the FEM element for the beam. Understood? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Understood first, all of you? All of you understood what I said here?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Over, written,
Yes, sir.
written. FEM model is written.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, written here, F2 is minus 250 into 10 raised to 3, negative because of downward direction. You already written in the data, no problem. So F2 is minus 250, negative because of downward direction. Next step. What is the next step? What is the next step?
Stiffness matrix.
Stiffness matrix. Element stiffness matrix. So you have to use this formula now. So only one element, therefore only one K1, that is I1 by L cube, and this 12 6L 12 6L like this. So here L is nothing but this one, 800 mm. You have to substitute. So every in L term you substitute the 800 value. So and simplify this, and let me see what is the EI by L cube. You'll get check out. E you know, I you know, L also they given. So simplify this. What is the EI by L cube? You'll get check out.
So 1.56 into 10 power 3.
Yes, 1.56 in 10 power 3 is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think I kept 1.56 only outside only. You want, you can multiply 1.56 inside, and 10 power 3 you can keep outside. But you have to carefully, you have to multiply these things. Plus and minus you have to take care well when you're doing that. Square is there, L square is there. That you should keep this in mind. Only L square, not 2 times of 800 square. Like that you have to write it. And simplify this. Check out this K1, K11, K12, K13. All these elements are simplify, and tell me the value. So I think this is the thing you are going to use. You have to get it. So I kept 1.56 into 10 raised to 3 outside only. And if you simplify inside by substituting the L value, you check out, you maybe get like this. All of you following? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All of you got here 12, 4,812, 4,800, 4,800, 2560. And as I told here, symmetric. You no need to do everything. Only do half of this much. You do it. So only you do it this much, and even diagonal terms, and rest of the bottom terms become symmetric. Correct now? Hello?
Sir.
Sir.
So we got it, all these values like this. I'm not multiply 1.56 inside. Just I kept outside only, no problem, because only one K1 is there, no problem. You can do it like this only, no issue. All of you got like this? Stiffness matrix. Or hello?
Sir.
Huh? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, and one more thing very important here is, listen. See, in case of 1D bar as well as in case of trusses, we are numbering that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 based on the node numbers, degree of freedom at each node. See, we are not numbering like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that here. In entire beam problem, we are numbering with respect to the degree of freedom only. But so what we are considering in the node, instead of 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, we are considering like v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2 like that. For every node, those two degree of freedom is there. No, that we are going to take it now. So therefore, you have to numbering like this: v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2, v, and column number also same, because no element 1 belongs to the node 2. Therefore, in node 1 it is v1 theta 1, at node 2 v2 theta 2. That's what the reason. Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
This is one more important concept. You keep this one because this will be helpful in global stiffness matrix. Okay, so now next step is global stiffness matrix. Only one k is there, therefore the total k matrix is equal to k1 only, because only 1k, therefore that is only will become global stiffness matrix. That's what we are not written that again. K1, what is that? K1 already we know here, just why we taken just k1, because no addition here, only one element, so that makes very easy. Therefore write on global stiffness matrix k is k matrix equal to k1 matrix. Got it? Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Over?
Yes, sir.
Global stiffness matrix over?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next step is global load vector. See, this is very important in case of beams. Global force vector, as well given the all the formulas. The nodal force vector, we are taking the with respect to the different load condition. What type of load is acting here now? What type of load is acting here now? Hello? What type of
Load.
point load or concentrated load?
Point load.
Therefore, when point load is come, so what is the nodal force vector we have to take it? Like F1, M1, F2, M2, F3, M3, like that. That is what we are done here. So therefore, global load vector or force vector F is equal to, this is M1, okay? F1, M1, F2, M2, like that we taken. So this is F1, M1, F2, M2, because only two nodes are there. Therefore, in each node, force is acting F1, bending moment is acting M1, and similarly F2 at M2 at corresponding node 2. Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, so what is at node 1? What is the F1 value? What is the F1 acting here? At node 1, what is the F1 acting here? What force? Any force acting at node 1? Here?
0, 0.
0. Any bending moment M1 they given? Bending moment value they given?
No, sir.
No, 0. F2 given minus 250. M2 become how much? M2
0.
couple, nothing but M2 nothing but couple. That is also 0. Therefore 0, 0, minus 250 into 10 raised to 3 and 0. So this is about global load vector. Hello?
Sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Next, global displacement vector. So here, as I told, in previous cases like 1D bar and trusses, we are using Q, capital Q, but we are not using that here. We are going to use in especially in a beams delta. So delta is the displacement vector, and the nodal displacements are this one, v1 theta 1 v2 theta 2. That is the displacement, nodal displacement we are going to consider. Instead of q1 q2 q3 q4, we are taking like v1 v2 v3 like that we are going to considering. So therefore, so here v1 theta 1 v2 theta 2, there are four global force vector terms. Understood?
Yes, sir.
The next step, as you know already, equilibrium equation, kq is equal to f, not kq, sorry, here delta. So all k value, delta value, f value, you have to substitute. That you know well. Understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next step you know well. What is the next step?
Equilibrium.
Apply.
Apply the
Equilibrium.
boundary. Apply the
Boundary
boundary condition using which approach? Elimination approach. Apply the boundary condition using elimination method. So which node is fixed here? Which node is fixed?
V1.
The node. Which node is
First
fixed?
node.
Huh? Which node?
Node 1, sir.
Node 1 is fixed. Where a node is not fixed, there is some deflection. There is a translation movement. There is a rotation is there. Therefore, since node 1 is fixed, we are v1 and theta 1 become what? v1 theta 1 become what?
Yes, sir.
0. Right on. Apply the boundary condition using elimination method. Since node 1 is fixed, v1 theta 1 equal to 0. Therefore, eliminate v1 theta 1. v1 theta 1 means v1 means first term. Theta 1 is second term. Therefore, eliminate first row, first column, second row, second column. Therefore, eliminate first 10 rows and their corresponding columns. Therefore, eliminate first and second row and corresponding columns. Same method, that is as usual, that you know well. Correct? No? In boundary condition, no confusion. Huh? Any confusion in the boundary condition?
Boundary condition. No.
Clear? As usual.
Yes.
Because since node 1 is taken, q1, q2 we are fixing usually in that. Instead of that, v1 theta 1 we are considering, that's all. Okay? Over?
Sir.
Okay. So therefore, we are going to eliminate first row, first column. So first row, first column, then theta 1, that is second row, second column, that you have to eliminate. So what is the terms are left? This much is left now. Now you have to find out the v2 and theta 2. So check out v2 theta 2, same value you are getting.
Same, sir.
All of you got same? All of you got V2 as minus 53.41, theta 2 as minus 100.16 into 10 raised to minus 3. See, keep this in mind. All the rotation will be in the radian. Slope is in radian. Unit is very important. Understood? All of you got the same value?
Yes, sir.
See, you can observe here now. V2 we got negative. Theta 2 also negative. That means what? Negative getting means what is the meaning that?
Not positive.
Negative is getting means V2 negative means what? When is V2 is negative? What is the here V2 we taken positive? Why we taken V2 as positive? Why here we taken V2 as positive? Hello? Why we taken
Why we taken upward direction?
Yes, correct.
Upward
Because
direction.
of upward direction we taken as positive, and because of counterclockwise theta 2 is positive. But finally when you calculated we got negative. That means what? That means what? V2 is not
Direction
acting.
is downward.
V2 is not acting upward. It is acting downward. Even theta 2 is not acting anti-clockwise. It is acting in clockwise direction.
Clockwise.
That means. So let me verify. See, this is the beam. Force applying like this. How beam will be bent? How beam will be bent? Sagging bending moment or arcing bending moment take place? This one, cantilever beam. Sagging or arcing? It will bend like this, no? It will bend like this. Sagging or arcing? Arcing, no. So therefore, and which type of movement take place? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Movement is take place which? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? If I apply the force like this, which type of movement take place? Clockwise or anti-clockwise rotation?
Clockwise.
Clockwise, no? Everyone agree? Clockwise.
Yes, sir.
And also force will be, see, if I apply the force downward like this, how the beam will move? Upward or downward?
Downward.
So therefore downward, there is a deflection take place in a downward direction. Therefore your V2 will be acting downward and your theta 2 also acting clockwise. So that's why we got negative. Understood now? Understood?
Sir.
Write down. The negative sign indicates V2 acting downward, V2 acting downward, and theta 2 acting in a clockwise direction. Theta 2 acting in a clockwise direction. V2 acting downward and theta 2 acting in a clockwise direction. Understood why under negative sign you understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
This is for every problem we assume that at each node the deflections are upward, rotations are anti-clockwise. But actually if we calculate, if we got positive only means definitely what our assumption is correct, in the same direction it will act. Negative means it is reverse, like that meaning. So therefore here also same. See, your first question is over now. Deflection at the supports. Deflection at the supports means this are V1, V2, theta, theta. It is over. Now deflection at the free end. Deflection at the free end means here, not support they given, free end. Therefore free end means V2 theta 2 are the deflection. See, V1 theta 1 V2 theta 2 are the deflections. Keep this in mind. Next, what is the next question? First question is over. Deflection at the free end is over. What is the next question?
Reaction.
Reactions. So reactions we need to find as usual. R is equal to K delta minus F. So where the reaction will produce? Where the reaction is produced? Hello? Where the reaction will be produced? Where the reactions will be produced?
Node one.
Node 1. So R1, see R1 with respect to V1, there are how many R you will get? See, there are 4 nodal displacement, therefore you will get 4 reactions: R1, R2, R3, R4. Therefore R1 and R2 will be there, whereas R3, R4 become 0. So now you know K value, you know delta value, you know F value. So substitute those matrix value, and all of you let me know the answer R1, R2. Are you getting? Hello? How much? Hello? All of you got a R1, you have to multiply first these two matrix, A delta, then minus F, you have to do it. That you know well. R1 will get 240. You have to get it.
40.55.
Yes, correct. R2 has minus that 240 minus no.
5. Yes, sir.
R2 has minus 587.47 into 10 raised to 6. Correct?
Yes, sir. R3, R4, 0.
R3, R4, 0. Correct. All of you got? Hello? All of you got it? R2 has minus 587.47, 10 raised to 6. R1 has minus 240.55 into 10 raised to 3. All of you got this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So by this, problem 1 is completed. Now rest of the problems are same only. Rest of the problems are same only, but only the thing is the nodal force vector is there, no? There it will be changes. Keep this in mind. And one more thing, this R2, see, R1, R2, R3, R4, no? And here I forget it. See, why R1, R2, R3 means, see, R1 with respect to because of V1, R2 because of theta 1, and R3 because of V2, and R4 because of theta 2. Therefore, R1 will be in the Newton or kilonewton. R2 will be either R2 will be in radian because theta 1, no, because of movement the reaction will be produced. Therefore, write down R2. What is the value got in radian? Radian. I think I written Newton. It is wrong. Still radian. This one. It is radian. Hello.
Yes, sir.
R2 is
Yes, sir.
radian. And R3. What is the unit of R3? What is the unit of R3? R3 with
Newton.
Newton. And
Newton.
R4 it is radian. Okay. Okay. So by this we completed the first problems on the beams. So next problems will be same procedure. Only the things are load condition will be changed. Now in the second problem, see, UDL is given. So like that. So then UDL is given, then global force vector obviously going to change, and rest of things are same. And like that, different types of beam will take it and will take up the different types of problems. Okay.